I'm trying. I was so geared up for shooting videos today, and
today's storied episode is made possible through the continuing support of Jamie Grant and dozens of other people just like you on Patreon. Check out the links below in the description to see how you can get involved and how you can join the awesome Discord community behind all these videos. Thanks, guys.
Hi there, guys, and welcome back to the shop for Project Archi episode 35. Today, we get to do power connections. This is gonna be cool. We're doing the power connection for the J1 encoder. This is the 5-volt DC power connection. This one is quick, it's easy, it's simple. We are gonna be in and out and done in no time. You're gonna love it. So I'm gonna move this right on up where you can get a look at it. So this is what you need to know. You got your J1 encoder cable here. Now we've already connected in the last video, brown and white. Those go off to the red plug here. So now we're going to be working back here a long time ago, like 6,000 episodes ago. We did these two big power bundles and they are super cool. So this is our 5-volt, really this is like a power bus. This is our positive, this is our negative, and we have a whole Rastafarian hairdo worth of connections there. And we're gonna use up a pair of these today. One black, one red. And these are gonna connect to the coronavirus sometimes causes strokes. We're going to connect them to the J1 encoder lead. Back here, we've got the black and the red. So this goes to here and this goes to here and it's set. We got this, it's gonna be easy. Now, in editing the episode 33, 4, somewhere in there, I got looking at how we did the heat shrink and I'm not happy with that, but I have an idea. So we're gonna try an experiment and see if this works. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we're gonna try it. I have a whole lot of this white heat shrink. Now that, I might not, okay. So I got a little bit of this white heat shrink. It's good to use white for this because this color I don't really use for anything else. So I can fit both of those in a white. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut, these pieces of heat shrink are a little bit too small and I have trouble sliding them on far enough. And I don't wanna just have a whole big gob of heat shrink hanging off the end. So we're gonna double heat shrink these in pairs because they go all to the same place anyway. And I'm gonna cut the heat shrink down to try and make this work better. So that'll get us 2 pieces of red and 2 pieces of black. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna individually heat shrink them in their appropriate color to make them sexy so it all matches up, and then completely hide that with a big piece of white heat shrink that goes right over and joins the 2 wires together. So you don't need the second layer of heat shrink. It's just a safety thing. It's just me being a fussy bitch is what it is. So yeah, that's how that works. So we're gonna begin by stripping this down. This is hard to do when the wire is short. This is hard to do when the wire is tiny. This is just hard to do, damn it. I need an adult. Wow, that is not, it's not liking that. But my thumbnail works. I'm gonna try these strippers because these little tiny wires, this might work better. Yeah, that's an easier way for that. They're not as cool as my other strippers. I definitely like my other strippers better, but not every tool works for every job all the time. This is why I clearly require the better part of a Home Depot tool section in my basement. Oh, wow, that works amazing for that. Oh, and these are stranded too. This is a nice silicone wire and they're all stranded and it's just good. This is lovely. This may work a lot easier than the Ethernet cables, because the Ethernet cables are solid wire and these aren't. So this might work a lot better. Let's find out. So I'm going to slide our red heat shrink up the wire. Oh, that just barely doesn't fit. Oh, you're killing me. Really? It's that thick silicone insulation. Oh, you suck so bad. All right, so we're going up a size. We're definitely not going to double heat shrink it now, that's for sure. And I can't cut that in half because I'm going to use the whole length of it now. Oh, this is going to be tricky because I have to... Okay. Improvise, adapt, and overcome. So if I trim my heat shrink to that short, I'll just barely be able to cover the connection, but I will be able to cover the connection. So we're gonna, oh, this is gonna be microsurgery. So I put the big heat shrink up the thing. That's tight. It'll be okay. It's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. And then we're gonna come up on it. Thus, I'm trying to use up some real estate because I want that connection to be short. Oh, all right. I'm breaking out the helping hands. I need an adult. That's gonna hold there. This is gonna hold here. And bring that right in, and thus, and good. Okay, you bastard. Let's get that back where you can see it. Okay. Now we can all suffer together. Oh, these are gonna be fun. Not my usual or recommended rat tail splice. Okay. That's not exactly how that's supposed to look, but I have an idea. I'm going to fold it flat like that, and then I'm going to cut it off like that. Ah, shit. Nah, it's gonna be fine. I can't. I'm trying. I was so geared up for shooting videos today, and if I just grind through this, I'm gonna fuck it all up. Hi there guys, welcome back to the shop for Project Archi episode 35. So this is actually the second time I've tried to shoot this video. Tried to do it yesterday. I might release that as a blooper because it was a bad day. That wasn't even yesterday. That was the day before yesterday. It's been 2 days. It's like that. So it was that bad. It was just, oh my God. So what we're gonna do in this episode is the actual thing, but I also have to clean up what I did because I butchered this so bad. So I'm actually gonna take it out of the helping hands because they're not helping, and we're gonna put this together. Now what we're doing here, we're doing twice. So I'm just gonna show you the whole thing, and I'm gonna do a clever little hack because it's okay to make mistakes. You're going to. It's being able to fix it when you make the mistake that's important. So here I have 2 really short, about 1/2 inch long pieces of the same red heat shrink. And I'm gonna load that up my wire because my wire is now very short. And I'm gonna need to be able to heat shrink this joint. So I'm gonna teach you how to stack heat shrink to make sure that you've got enough to cover the whole joint. Now, either one of these pieces would probably do it, but I just wanna make sure we're cool. So then we're gonna bring that, we're gonna stretch this out. Now these are short, but I think they're long enough to do this. And I'm gonna twist these together. Okay, so that's good. And we're gonna fire up our soldering iron. I'm gonna water my sponge so that it'll grow nice and big. All right, so this is a little jankety. We're going to spin that off to the side. Now our actual length of the connection is now only like 1/4 inch. This is not the best way to do this. This is the way I'm doing this one because I screwed it up so badly yesterday. But this is at the point where it will be electrically fine. It just won't be as aesthetically pleasing as I would like. I care about the aesthetics of things, but that doesn't mean I always get them right. So we're gonna flux this. Just a little bit, that's all you need. So you can see that I have a piece of heat shrink loaded up the wire here that's way shorter than I'd normally use. Normally I'd just use a full piece of heat shrink, and the full piece I think is like 2 inches long. Now I've got 2 pieces here, and what I'm gonna do is put one in place, heat it, put the other in place on top of it and heat that, and just roll from there. If I really had a major problem, I could take this off and pull my wires back to there, but I'm trying to leave my thing in place. So we grab a little solder, grab our magic, oh my dear God. We've got to clean that. I don't know if you're supposed to dip your tip in flux to clean it, but it seems to work really well. Don't breathe that. Look at that. Look at how shiny and clean that is. And I'll stick it in my thing. All right. Smells nice too. I like it. Okay, so I got solder in there, but my heat shrink started to activate. So I'm gonna push my heat shrink right over that freshly made solder joint and try and get a little piece of it in there. And then I'm gonna cut that heat shrink where it stopped activating because I didn't want it to just clamp back on the wire. So I'm going to grab a little razor knife, poke through the heat shrink, and just cut that right there. I was trying to stay far enough away from it, but I was pretty sure I wasn't. And I wasn't. So I'm like, all right, what's the best thing I can do? Just cram it up there and see what happens. There. So we'll pull that back, and we're just going to cut that little bit off of the heat shrink because we have enough. And then I'm going to run this one over my joint, which is totally cooled off now, as far up as I can. I can get that one out of the way further than this one. So we'll put this one on, but we're gonna have to be really careful when we heat shrink it. And I gotta cut that ugly end off of it. Oh, that's way better. Okay, and we'll roll this out. Cut that off. This is the worst joint in the whole robot. So I've got that record going for me. The ugliest, worst joint in the entire robot so far, but don't worry, I think I can do worse later. All right, so now I gotta heat shrink this while pulling this one back and shielding it and getting that one just barely over it. So we're going to heat shrink that just as much as I dare. Okay. Give it a little gentle love and then see if I can slide this one over it. And that'll give me what I know is enough engagement where it's a good, perfect joint. Oh, look at that. It was rough getting there, but we made it. And it's a good joint. And it doesn't look like hell. Some of the parts of getting there were pretty jank, but we got it. So now we're gonna do the other one. And the other one is the exact same joint, just in a different color. We're gonna connect the two black wires together. And now I get to show you how it's supposed to be done. This is what it's supposed to look like. And this is totally different from the system that I want to be doing on this. This is just, as you do this, you learn things, you develop ideas and skills and techniques, and I don't have enough black in there to do that. So we're going to use a totally random color. We're going to use blue, because this whole process on this particular joint has left me black and blue. I am emotionally bruised. I am sensitive. So we're going to run that up. Let's see how far we can get. I'm going to slide that right up the wire. That's about where I want to be. Okay. Cut me off a piece of the blue. Now I can slide that all right up there. Yep, we're cool, we're safe. And now we're gonna bring these two together. In a proper rat tail splice, so a thing to note, if you have two wires and they're coming in from each side like this, and you wrap them around each other and they go off in a T and it's just a spiral, that's not a rat tail splice. A rat tail splice looks more like a surgeon's knot. You have two wires coming in, they cross, and then this one wraps around this one, and this one wraps around this one. Okay, so it goes, they come at each other and then continue past each other, and this wire wraps around here, and this wire wraps around here, and it's a full line. There's no T. A proper rat tail splice is just a line, and they spin in opposite directions around each other. So we're gonna add, well, that was stupid. That's kind of warm now. So I'm gonna hold my flux brush way down here because I rested it, I tossed it in the soldering iron tray and the handle of my flux brush just went up against my soldering iron. So we're gonna set that back over here for the next round and clean our tip. A little solder. That's the best splice I've done in the whole thing. So there you got my worst and my best. Enjoy. And then we're going to slide our heat shrink right down over the top of it. Activate it. And that is lovely. Okay. And my next one's going to be even better. If I can work out some stuff, we can do even better. But there you go. That is the J1 encoder 5-volt DC power connections to the positive bus and the negative bus. And it's all together, and it's good, and it's done. And that episode took me 3 days to shoot. But it's done! Yeah! Thank you guys for hanging out. You're gonna have rough days. You're gonna have rough steps. It's gonna happen. But it's how we deal with our mistakes. It's how we think around the problem and figure it out and end up with a good, secure, structurally good, electrically good, aesthetically good, finished piece that matters. We're not paid by the hour on this. It's okay to take the time. I had to walk away from this for a couple days. It's okay to take the time and just be like, you know what? Screw it. I'm done. I ain't got it. That's going to happen. One of the most important lessons you'll learn in any kind of workshop environment is when to just walk away from the damn thing. Because, this is a really common problem for people. You'll find this a lot. Like, it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you've been on that thing for 12 hours, swearing at it for the past 4 nonstop, and just nothing's working right, and you're clumsy and your hands don't work right, and just walk away from it. It's better to walk away from a project, sleep, eat, check your email, whatever, and then come back the next day fresh, because you're going to have a better approach. You're going to have a clearer head. You're going to be in a way better mood. You have to learn the line of when to walk away from it. And you will find this line. Everybody's got one. You have to learn the line of like, you know what? I can do this now. I can finish this now. But if I do, it's going to look like hell, or it's not going to work right, or it's going to be super jank. Don't do that. It's so much better. 99% of the time, it's so much better to just walk away. There's a tiny percent of the time when you can't. When the boss is standing behind you and he's like, I don't care, just get it done, man. Like the customer's losing $50,000 a day or whatever. There's times when just screw it, slam a Red Bull and get it done. But those times are really rare. For most people, most of the time, those incidences, thankfully, are really rare. It's better to just walk away from it and take a fresh start. And that's exactly what I had to do. And you can see I was able to salvage this. It's still pretty ugly, but I was able to salvage it. And this one looks great. I screwed a thing up and I was smart enough to walk away. And it doesn't mean I was born with that. I learned that lesson by not walking away a couple hundred times and really screwing things up. But you learn. Patience matters. Patience is a virtue that carries a lot of waiting. So thank you guys for being patient with me. You guys have fun. I'm Chris Boden and you're not. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.